So why do you post all the things you post? Why are you always trying to grow? Why are you always helping people? Why are you always trying to get others to grow? And I said, it's just my inherent nature. I want to grow. I want to prosper. I don't want to remain stale and status quo. And which has been a common discussion that we've had. We've talked about when you get to the top, pull others up. When you finally make it, that you want to make sure that you're doing something with it, not just stacking it and setting it aside. Right. And so we talk about being a conduit of money. We talk about being a conduit of energy. We talk about being a conduit of spirit. All of those things are the reason why I do what I do.
All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. If this is your first time here, we are old guys still rock. This is going to be the best podcast that you've never seen before. So strap in, get ready. We're going to give you some golden nuggets that you'll be able to make adjustments or apply to your life, whatever that may be. Again, if this is your first time here, I am Blair Armstrong. I'm Team Armstrong Coldwell Banker. I am a global luxury specialist in the world of residential real estate here in the Coachella Valley. Coachella Valley is basically Palm Springs, La Quinta, Palm Desert, Rancho Mirage, Indio. Hopefully you've been there. If you don't know, look up the Coachella Valley and put your finger on it and look at all the cities that are entwined to it. So Brent always says, get a map. And then on my left and on possibly your right is my very, very good friend for almost 30 years and co-host of the show, Brent Wright of Brent Wright Incorporated. He is located in beautiful, beautiful Eugene, Oregon, which actually they've been having some good weather lately, and we'll get onto that in a little bit. But he's a man of multiple hats. Over the past 30 years, I've known him, and a little bit before I knew him, body shops, detail shops, payroll companies, something to be announced very soon in the future, wellness centers. One of the great things that I think a lot of this podcast has helped him get to this point, but a little bit before that as well, is he's really started to peel back the onion on not only personal coaching, but business coaching. Like, who is this guy, Brent Wright? Why would he be a good personal business coach? We have 100 other episodes that you guys can watch, and you can figure out why, when I say what I say, why he could possibly be a good fit for you. If you're stuck in a rut or you're having issues with the relationship or you can't figure out how to get your business to the next level, this gentleman has a lot of wisdom. I've always called him this. He's the quiet giant. If you need something done, you call him and then get out of the way. So anyways, brother, how are you? We had a little hiccup because of technology. But we're going to have actually 2 episodes this week. So this is supposed to be episode from last Thursday. Couldn't get it out. We actually couldn't record it, period. So we're doing one today and we're going to do another one on Thursday. So you get a double dose. We might even turn into MFCEO part 2. Andy Frisella, watch out. We're coming for you, buddy.
Yeah, that's right.
So anyway, God, he's been doing some big, he just did a 3-hour podcast.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess you're going Joe Rogan-ish now, so we don't. Unfortunately, you and I don't have the bandwidth for that right now.
Nope. So it's a balmy 54 degrees and rainy, extremely rainy, which is super cool because the pastures will get a much needed amount of rain and grow fruitfully, so that way we can feed the cows and goats and all the fun stuff.
Good.
Got a couple, about 4 new pullets last night. Pullets are chickens that haven't started laying yet, for those that don't know. On the ranch, we did cow vaccinations and vitamins and minerals on Saturday. That was an interesting time. Try being a 50-plus-year-old and wrangling 800-pound cows. That's a good time.
That does not sound like fun. You have to do like the glove and stick it all the way inside.
Oh, no. We don't play that. That's just, All we're doing is putting them in the squeeze and vaccinating them, but
Okay.
just getting them in the squeeze is a good time by itself.
Squeeze this thing around their neck, right?
Yeah, it goes and hooks around their neck to their shoulders, and then you
Yeah.
squeeze them on the side, and it
Yeah.
isolates them, so that way
Yeah.
you can give them shots
Yeah. And you don't get kicked.
and run over and all that good stuff. And our bull, I mean, he's probably 1,600 pounds, so he couldn't even fit in the squeeze. We had to put him between two gates and squeeze him manually, with three of us pushing against him. So that was a good time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Anyway, how was your week last week?
Good.
Kind of feel,
Good. I had a
feel
little
like,
void. I thought we were going to do episode 101 or day
yeah,
one, right?
yeah, yeah,
And we had a little hitch in our giddy up with your
yeah,
laptop. So,
yeah,
we're back in
yeah.
the saddle again.
We're back in there trying to get some stuff out here. So super excited today. I mean, we're talking about, growth and change today, which kind of really kind of that common thread through all of our podcasts of how we're going to get better and why, why do you want to do that? The status quo. So when you were thinking about this topic, what was that trigger to like, you know what, I really have some things that I want to share with everyone, to hopefully, if they're going through the same thing I am, or maybe something in the future that they can go back and look for and help them get out of that. What was that trigger for you to come up with this topic?
Well, for me, it was pretty simple. I actually had somebody ask me that. So why do you post all the things you post? Why are you always trying to grow? Why are you always helping people? Why are you always trying to get others to grow? And I said, it's just my inherent nature. I want to grow. I want to prosper. I don't want to remain stale and status quo. And which has been a common discussion that we've had. We've talked about when you get to the top, pull others up. When you finally make it, that you want to make sure that you're doing something with it, not just stacking it and setting it aside. Right. And so we talk about being a conduit of money. We talk about being a conduit of energy. We talk about being a conduit of spirit. All of those things are the reason why I do what I do, besides the fact that I don't want to end up homeless again. We've talked about that. Living in my truck was really cool for the first couple of days. It was like camping. After the 6-month mark, it was not so cool. And so, there's a lot of folks that don't understand, why don't I take the easy way out? Why is it that it's never enough? I get asked that a lot, actually. And so I just wanted to formulate some ideas and some thoughts around that, get your take
Yeah.
on it, see where you're at,
Yeah.
and kind of just episode 101 gut check of, why are we growing? Why is it important for us to do 101 episodes?
Yeah. And, that's, I might talk about that too. And I'm going to use a story that we're kind of going through right now. Been with Coldwell Banker for, since 2019, and, growing a team, moved out of this on-site office that we have here at Ironwood Country Club, and opened our own office and tried to get that ramped up and doing some different things. And, had an opportunity to come back here, to this on-site office last July. It's actually almost been a year that we've been back. And when I came back, it was like everything that frustrated me when I left was still happening here when I came back. And I'm like, how has this not evolved in almost 2.5 years of me being gone?
Yeah.
And so, it's like, okay, I came in, when I came here, when I was here the last time back in 2019 to 2021, it's a little bit of a bull in a china shop, because you start doing 75 hard, reading books, you're part of RTA Syndicate. They really help you peel back the onion of change and growth and all these different things. And so I had a lot of pushback then. No, this is the way we've always done it. We don't want to do this, just because you like that, that's not who we are. And like, oh my God, we're losing market share like nobody's business. So I come back to the same thing, literally just had a conversation about 10 minutes before we came on here, 15 minutes before we came on here today, about that. And when I first came back, I told David, like, okay, we're going to take it really slow. I don't want to ruffle any feathers, and just let me evaluate, kind of see where everybody's at. Okay, we need to, eventually this person's going to leave, and when this person leaves, then we'll go and get this stuff done. So bottom line is we started getting phone calls. And if you're a realtor, you'll understand this, but you get entertained by other brokerages a lot. I'm being super transparent on this. So that's kind of where, again, is why this podcast is, because we get to be super transparent. We're not here hiding and trying to sugarcoat stuff. So this will be a little bit different. Absolutely love Caldwell Banker. I'll say that. They're a great company. They've really helped me grow and do some different things. But it comes down to is when you're asking for a partnership, and this is really, you can apply this towards a relationship. You can apply this towards a business. You can apply this towards a friendship, which is part of it, whatever. And you're going, gosh darn, I'm doing this. I'm doing, okay, it's on me to get this marketing piece out. Again, take my words and flip them to whatever it is that works for you and in your situation that you're having. Got to get this marketing piece out. Why do we only have 25% of a market share when we should have at least 80%, especially with the longevity of the people that we have that's in this community. Why do we only have, along with that 25% of the market share, why do we only have 40% of the closings? And I'm like, we got to make some changes, and we got to start doing some stuff. So set up a couple meetings. This community's an HOA, and like, okay, what have you guys done to build a relationship with an HOA? And this is not selling anybody out. These guys that I'm talking about have heard no so many times. They just went to the road of complacency. Well, they're just going to tell us no, so we're not going to try anymore, right? Just heard no so many times. And those you don't know, I don't like no very much. There's certain times I have to accept no, and we just try to find a different way or reapproach it a different way. So there is a community relations board in our area. And we were told that if you're on site that you could not be a realtor on this board. Like, that makes zero sense. We are the heart and soul of this community. We know, we not only been members for, I've been around this area for 20 something years, and other people have been members for a long time. Like, you need us on this board because we know what's happening. We have people come into the office telling us, this is what we want to do. Why don't we have this? This is what we're looking for. And the other people on the board are completely just not in touch. So anyway, like, that makes zero sense. We have other realtors that are on there that have no idea what's going on inside of Ironwood Country Club. So why are we having all this stuff? So anyway, poke the bear, got me and another colleague up on this board. Sat around, listened to what they said, and like, we're going nowhere with this. Reached out to the president of the HOA. Like, we want to start a partnership with you. And we want to start doing community events starting in October through the end of May. That's been basically a season that's here. So we want to do this, and this. Can you do this?
That's when it's not 128 degrees, right?
We're not 128 degrees. We're getting there, but not there. But and strictly for with this, we told them what we want to do in the partnership and the relationship that we want to grow. We know it's going to take a couple of years to really get the full momentum out to the rest of the community. So that we've been waiting for someone to step up and do this stuff. And I'm like, So long story short is, I'm going through a lot of stuff, and you can fill this in, but I went back to the other colleagues and like, why has this not been done? Why, it's like, well, we tried this once and they said no, and we didn't, it cost us a lot of money. Well, why didn't you get a contribution? Well, they told us again. So just a massive disconnect. So we entertained some other brokerages and said, this is what we're doing. Like, oh my God, we've been dying to partner with you. Now we have, it's just going to probably get myself in so much trouble with this, but whatever. But now we have our brokerage, which again, Coldwell Banker, great brokerage, love them, represented us very well, going like, well, why didn't you ask? Like, dude, you're the manager. You're supposed to be coming to us. What do we need? And here's this guy that is trying to make things happen. So
let's open that up. So you talked about the road of complacency. So to paraphrase your journey with this process, you talked about road of complacency. So you've traveled that road. I've traveled that road. What made you take a detour or get off at the exit of that road? And then secondly, while you're thinking about that, think about, why is it that others don't? And why is it so important for you to help them get off the exit, even if they don't want to?
Yeah, a lot of it, I mean, super simple to answer that question. A lot of it has been, our conversations over the last 2.5, almost 3 years now, even before this podcast, when we just go on walks and not together, we're totally separate states, but we would
1,500 miles apart.
Yeah. Go and walk. He would do his like second day workout from 75 hard. We would go on a walk and it would be 45 minutes, and we're like getting all this stuff out. So a lot of that was like a lot of tutelage from you. Like, okay, I'm doing this. Hey, you know what? I can apply that to a spot. So it was conversation. So there's a big part about this. And again, going back to this conversation I just had with one of my colleagues a little bit ago today, you hear no so many times, you just stop. Like, you're fine. I'm just going to concentrate on just doing my stuff, and I'll deal with it when it comes. And so when I kept hearing, well, we heard no, I'm like, okay, well, let's find a way to either have this person help us or go find somebody that or partnership with anybody else. No, that's just a lot. I'm like, it's a lot for who? And that's the question. Well, they kind of did this and they kind of did this. And I'm like, regardless, I go, first and foremost, is this something that you want to do? Is this the path that you guys want to go on? And is this going to help you have a better life? Well, yeah. So if you're in a partnership with somebody and they keep telling you no, why do you just stop? And this is a lot coming from you, Brent, by the way. So a lot of these things will resonate with you. Why are you just going to stop? Maybe have a different conversation. Maybe go find somebody that's a better partner for you. I'm not saying leaving again, relationship wise, this all comes down to conversation to figure out. Business wise, sometimes business relationships are just business relationships at the end of the day. They just don't work anymore. I don't condone that for personal relationships, especially marriage at all. I'm not saying just walk away, figure it out. Because that's a different promise in my eyes. And then you guys can debate that. And if you want to debate that, leave that in the comments. Whatever. But the point of it is this is a livelihood. This is a representation of who you are and how you run business. And when you do things and you don't, the way I'm looking at it now, and I just said this to you, is everything that I'm doing for these colleagues, even if they're having a hard time grasping this, it's going to help them not only be better in business, but have a better, they're going to be viewed differently. Like they really got stuff out, got out involved in the community, and it's stuff that they want to do. So I'm not like this saving white horse. I'm just getting them to a point that people are going to pay attention to them and help them get along, instead of telling, because I told them, like, I'm not listening to no. We're going to figure this out and we're going to press it. And if they don't want to do it, we're a commodity that are being sought after. And there's going to be somebody that really wants to partner with us. And we're going to find that partnership either with the place that we're at now or somewhere else. And so there was a little bit of pushback, but now I'm coming back and I'm like, hey, you know what? You really kind of lifted the veil a little bit, and we're starting to see what you're doing. And I'm like, I don't want any credit for it. I'm tired of you guys getting kicked down the road and acting like you don't matter. And, two of them have done more money than I did last year.
Do you think it's an age thing? Do you think it's a success thing? Do you think what do you think is the driver for them just staying on the road of complacency?
Boy,
Is it the easy button? We talked about that a couple of
definitely an easy button. I have a good thing here. I do well. I do better than most of the other people that are here.
But am I doing the best that I can?
They're not doing the best. It's just like, what, we're in the top here, so why ruffle the feathers when the feathers don't need to be ruffled? I'm like, okay, yeah, you're doing better than any, but half of these guys are only selling 2 or 3 houses a year. So what's better? But I can pull another 10 other agents that you're not doing better with. That's the benchmark. It's like, I can't use a sports analogy with you, but
yeah, no, not at all. when did chasing the best of the best not become important to people?
And it goes back to hearing no.
Yeah.
They just heard no for so long, dude. It's just like, you beat a dog long enough, he's not going to come to you anymore, right? He's just not going to come back. Or you train the dog the right way, give them kudos, get them on a path, kids, working relationships, whatever. But there's expectations to be had. And just because you do well doesn't mean their expectations are not going to change to get better.
Yeah, I guess I'm
still not answering the question.
No. I'm still just, it's tough for me to understand. And that's why it's important that we talk about this.
Yeah.
When something seems out of sorts or not to the best that I can physically make it, then I'm a flip the tables, get out the baseball bat kind of guy.
It's not in their DNA.
Okay.
Definitely not in their DNA.
So can you help somebody change their DNA? Can you help somebody to understand why seeking to be the best at what they do is important?
100%. I'm confident in what I do. It's not going to be a fun journey over the next couple of years to get this done. There's going to be some fun parts about it, but it's not going to be easiest. And we first sat down with what we want to do inside the HOA to build a better relationship with. Let me go back to explain just to kind of this pace mode is we have about a 60-40 split. So inside of this gated community that we live in, which is Ironwood Country Club, about 60% of the people are members inside the gates and 40% of the people are not. And that's the other way around, excuse me. 40% of the people are members here, 60% of the people are not. And we don't have a relationship with those 60%. And that's where we're losing our market share.
Yeah.
And
out of those 60%, are there people that want to grow? Or are they stale as well?
I think that the 60% of the people that live here that are not members, I just think that it's just, they just live in this gated community and there's no really community vibe in here.
And you guys understand, all we're using this as an example and talking points to be able to figure out why it is that some people feel this inherent or natural pull to grow and prosper and others don't. And the others that don't wonder why you do. And there's more of them, I believe, than of us, I would say.
Yeah, I think it comes down to, we talked about this almost probably every episode, but a couple episodes ago, a lot. It comes down to we are all born to made leaders, but sometimes you need to show a leader what their leadership skills are. And there's going to be a point in time once we kind of get this up and rolling that there's going to be other leaders that are going to emerge out of this office, and they're going to really find out something about themselves that they didn't know existed. It may be monstrous and it may be minuscule, but there'll be a leadership quality that comes out of it that will take charge, and there won't be this vibe of it's not complacency, but there's like a hoarding aspect of like, I'm just going to stay in my little spot here and I'm going to get as much as I can instead of looking at the bigger picture of what this could really be.
Now, what's the age group? What's the demographic that we're talking about?
In our office,
like 60, 65?
In our office, yeah, we're probably average age is probably right around. David helps out that average a little bit, so I would say our average age is about 60.
Okay, so that's right.
Yeah, but a little bit less than that, probably 55.
So that's in that age group that we talked about where life isn't hard anymore. You live in a gated community. You woke up in America. You got a lot of first world problems, right? And then you're in the top 1% of the 1%, right? Because you typically everybody's net worth is in excess of multiple six figures, and they got a little bit of money in savings and their car's paid for and they got a retirement and they got to go golfing today. Big stress of the day. You got to go golfing, right? I'm lightly making fun of it, but I'm also being pretty serious about like, we have to explain the context of this because we've talked about this several times with some of the people that live there as guests. And some of them really want to get to the top of the mountain, don't feel like they're ever going to get there. But from afar, they're at the top of the mountain. Some of them are pulling others up and giving back to society. And some are just staying in their house, watching Big Bang Theory and ignoring the rest of the world.
Yeah, you just trigger something because it just seems right now there is a lot of transition right here, and we have a lot of guys that were successful in their careers who are retired or almost retired, but now have this opportunity to go sit on board positions that are usually held by our more seasoned members. And what we're seeing right now is this board. We just talked about the community. Now we're going to talk about the board of a country club. Now you're having this opportunity. These guys are getting involved. Like, we could be better here. We could be better here. Why are we not doing this? Well, this is the way we've always done it. Since 1975. This is the way we've always done it. We made a little change, but this is just, we like to do it here. Well, that doesn't make sense. We have more people coming here. Well, this is the way we've always done it. So now you have guys getting on there like, here's a better way. This is how it's going to work. This is how we do it. And you're starting to see these changes made. And the seasoned people that have been, complacent, which we talked about just a little bit ago, are like fighting tooth and nail not to let these changes. It's going to elevate the expectations, the perception, the experience of this country club, which we want to do here for the community. It's going to elevate and just kind of change, why Ironwood, why you doing all this stuff, and the ripple effect that it has, not just in this community, but outside of other communities that are surrounding it. It's fun to watch. Definitely some.
Where's my popcorn?
Yeah, you get the popcorn ready. This. Oh man, you ruffled his feathers. He's going to come after you, and some in-house disagreements. I wouldn't call it fighting, but definitely disagreements. Why we have to do it this way is like you're trying to fix something that's not broken. Like, well, it is broken because it's not working efficiently. Well, so that's just why we go back to what you said is like, you kind of hear no, and this goes back to a board, and you have this on boards, right? This is the way we've always done it. We don't, what, this seems to work, but we could do this. Yeah, but we tried that a couple times. Okay, but did you try it with this in mind? No, but we tried it this way, which is kind of close. So we're just going to keep doing the same thing, and then either just the board goes away, or there's anarchy or whatever, right?
Do you think that at some point somebody looks inside themselves and says, I need to be better? Not just for me, but for everybody I'm interacting with today. And then you're saying they get told no once, twice, three times the lady, as the song goes, right? So, and then they just give up. They just roll over and play dead, or they put their efforts and energy somewhere else. Like, what do you do with that energy that you're trying to? It's tough because you go from having all this energy and making waves and making things happen, and then you retire. Do you think it's more of a societal programming that we need to just stop and let things be status quo?
Yeah, I think that you find the guys that I'm around with right now, they get about 1 or 2 years into retirement and they start going, "This isn't what I thought it was going to be." You know, you can only, yeah, you go chase a golf ball, 5 or 7 days out of the week, or maybe 6 out of 7, maybe every day. It gets old. You're
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, we've got to do something else. And those guys that are just newly retired, or guys who are getting on the board, like, okay, we've got to be better, so that everything that took them to get to that point of being a leader, being successful in business, to
Mm-hmm.
retire, at 60 or 65 years old. A lot of these guys are younger. It's the way this world is right now. Kind of realizing they have a little bit in their tank. And I heard a comment from one of them today, like, "Yeah, I'm not I'm not liked very much right now for what I'm doing." But he has a lot of support. So, but you have, the loud ones are the ones that are disagreeing. And I looked at him like, "I love you, bro." And he's like, "I love you too, buddy. Thanks for your support." But it, I think that if it's you, if whoever's watching this, if it's a woman or a man, and it's a business or a relationship, sometimes you've got to take the strap, and you got to wrap it around yourself, and then wrap it around the person you want to, that has that ability to become a leader with you, and kind of build them up and take them with you. And then, okay, I get you got to this far. I'm going to take this, what I've taken so far, and I'm going to give you a little bit of this so I can continue not having to carry such a load. And you're going to help me with that load. And then that person's going to go find another person, right? It's going to be the spider effect of, of being a servant leader, and, which we talked about before.
Mm-hmm.
Um, engage, equip, empower, right? Those three things on there to really get that going. And I just think that you'll see
That was a McCumber, wasn't it?
something like that.
Yeah.
Well, I came up with it, but
Yeah.
you stole it. So he came. Can I help you?
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
want me to hear you? Do you want me to help you? Do you want me to hug you?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's no hugging in business
Well,
sometimes.
maybe that's the problem.
Yeah, maybe. But I think right now, I'm using my example, and I know I'm talking a lot today, but I'm using my example of right now is like, I I know these guys could do a lot better, and I know that, what, just, I've been in this business long enough. I'm just going to keep doing the same thing. But if things start happening, which I know that they will, when things start happening and their marketing gets easier, their business gets easier, their paychecks get bigger. I'm not saying that's going to make them a better person, but they work hard, so they should get paid more. Um, they'll start taking that and contributing more. But right now, again, beat a beat a dog long enough, there's not a lot of trust in it until they really start seeing the fruits of the labor. So,
Well, it
um,
happens in all relationships. It
yeah,
happens in businesses. It happens in, at work, at the church, at this, at that. Where you see people trying only to this level, and then they just back away. The amount of it's the 90-10 rule. 90% of the work is done by 10% of the people. Well, what drives those 10%? That's what I want to find out. Why is it that 90% of the people just give up and roll over, but the 10% don't?
Yeah, I think it goes back to what you said too. I think it's just a societal thing. Um, I'm just gonna, you know, I'm just gonna stay in my lane. I'm fine. Um,
It's not up to me.
it's not up to me. I can't do
It's
the
not my
changes.
fight.
Right.
It's not it. How many of those have you heard, right?
Yeah. May not be your fight globally, but it is your fight. Your community. If it's two people, three people, whatever in your community, that is your fight, and you have to fight together to get it done.
Well, we talked about it, building community. This is
Yeah.
the type of structure that builds lasting and sustainable communities and relationships.
Right. Well,
Is
that's a part. I mean, you go to my website. That's our mission statement: building communities by building communities. I can't speak now. By building community.
mm-hmm.
So the bigger scale is to build a mass, big communities all over the valley through housing or residential real estate. But I have to do that by shaking hands and kissing babies, and then engaging with them, equipping them, and empowering them so they can go off and do the same thing.
From a marketing standpoint, do you think that you lose people in that message? Because a lot of people don't understand what community means. It's a lost art, I would tell you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But I think that's what you and I have been really trying to push out. We talked about this last week. There's no white horse to come save you.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking at a global aspect of the changes that need to be made instead of let's just hunker down and then be inside of our city and make an impact in the city. And then that city, another city watches it or community, city, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They see it like, oh, you know what? They did this. Let's do that too. And you kind of do that way. And so instead of going to a macro type of mindset, we need to get back to a micro mindset, micromanage ourselves, micromanage our communities that are in our bandwidth, maybe a 5-mile radius, if you may, just using that to try to picture, get involved with that, make those changes there, and help change people's lives or get them out of a rut that they may have not known that they're in or didn't see the opportunities to do that stuff. But just don't sit back anymore. Like, the thing that drives me crazy right now is people that are going through all this stuff, and you see all these guys, someone's getting hurt or in a rut or in a predicament. Instead of helping that person out, all they're doing is holding their phones up and videotaping it. But how is that community?
Yeah.
Why are you not put down your phone and go help that person out? It may not be a good situation or a situation that may not be fun to be in, but go help that person out. Dude, I just saw what was Kyle Van Lincoln or what's it?
Vanderlinden?
Vanderlinden?
Yeah.
See his wife today?
Mm-mm.
She passed away.
Not Vanderlinden. Kyle Vander.
Not Kyle.
No.
I'm trying to think of the gentleman that's in Arte. I'll probably have to cut this section out. Anyway, they had the tattoos in the workout facility. Anyway, I know you and I talked about it, but anyway, the point of it is that all these, there's a lot of pressure that we don't take time going back to this community and growth and all these different things, and then people make decisions that could be detrimental to their health.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why, going back to the same thing is stop looking globally. And
what I hear you trying to say is start with yourself, and your family, and your community, and go make a damn difference
every freaking day, every day.
That's why I want to grow.
Yeah,
that's why I want to continue on. That's why I read. That's why I exercise. so I take supplements, peptides, and all the things, is because I am not done growing myself, my family, or my community.
I think at big times, when you say that too, there's going to be times that people are not going to understand why you're trying that journey.
They don't.
And,
They
and,
I've
and
been
that's
asked,
the
when
complacency.
is it enough? When is it enough is what I get asked. And what have I told you? If you think I'm doing any of this for the money,
Yeah.
you clearly don't understand who I am.
Right. And everyone has that in them. And it may be hard for a lot of you guys that are watching this, or maybe some of you that understand this. Everyone has it in them. The journey can be fun and the journey can be dumb. And that's just,
it's painful every day, brother.
Yeah.
It's painful every day. I get people ask me, well, do you have fun getting in the cold plunge? We've talked about this before. Hell no, I don't have fun getting in the cold plunge. It hurts every dang time.
Yeah.
Well, why do you do it? Because it dilates and constricts my blood vessels. I do sauna or a hot magnesium bath and then get in the cold plunge. It's healthy. It's beneficial. Right. Sometimes to get better, you have to hurt. It has to be uncomfortable. It has to be painful. It has to not feel great. We chase comfort, and that's our problem, I believe.
Yeah. And it's not something you can, well, I guess you can spend money on. I'm thinking about the guys that we admire, and even your business partners, and Kyle and Gerard and people that you're around. I'm just using the small names, but you always have the bigger names of the Ed Milet's, the Tony Robbins, the Andy Frisellas, Alex Hermosis, those guys. Those are the guys that you need to watch. Even the Gerards, the Kyle Vanderlindens, you, me, those are the guys right now, because there's no self-satisfaction in doing this podcast. This whole podcast is totally about how we hope that you hear something that helps you get to the, or starts peeling back the onion to get to the next level. We're not asking you to pay us money.
Yeah.
We're not saying, okay, charge us. We're not selling you a book. We're not doing all this stuff. We've been through life, licked gutters, won some trophies, licked some more gutters, won some more trophies. And it's an ebb and flow. Job not done. You've heard me say that 1,000 times before. This is the thing this is not just some podcast that Brent and I are like, you know what? Let's go put some information out here and see what happens. It's like, listen, we want you to have a better life. We want to have you get out of a rut. The things that you may think about, like, I can't do this, or, oh, I wish I could get in front of it. Well, you can do it, and we're here to support you. So if you don't know how to do it, call Brent, call me, call your friends, have them call us, be it whatever it's going to take is. But that's the point of this. Our growth comes from this podcast because we're literally talking things out, not following some
me
1995 guy.
I'm just selfishly hoping that you or I pick up on one nugget from each of these, from either each other or ourselves.
Right. Well, actually, better yet, the guys who are watching this today, go watch episode number 1 and come and back and watch episode 101 and watch it from, instead of binging Netflix, binge Old Guys Still Rock for the next, 3 months, whatever you want to do, to take your time to go through those and see if there's involvement from what we started talking about to what we were talking about today. I'm confident enough to say that there is.
I watched episode 1 and I was like, ouch.
Sucked.
We sucked so horrible.
We might suck today too, but whatever.
That's all right.
Yeah. So I think we kind of nailed this bad boy, and you're going to see us twice this week. So any final comments on this stuff?
No, I just don't let others' opinions or questions stop you from accelerating at an exponential rate for yourself, for your family, or for your community. Just because somebody else doesn't understand it doesn't mean they're not supposed to get it, guys. They're not supposed to get it. If they decide to get it, then they're supposed to. Otherwise, you just keep doing your thing, being you, showing up, getting up early, doing the workouts, eating right, kicking butt, and taking names. Keep going. That's my final word. Keep going.
Yep. Spot on. You guys are stuck and you want to partner, give us a call. We'd love to join your journey with you.
Yep.
Either physically or mentally or verbally. So, all right, guys, we're gonna get out of here. I'm gonna get this episode out tonight, and we'll see you again on Thursday. So have a great day. Go make as Brent says, go make a damn difference. If you're just saying, you know what, today's the day that I'm going to make the change, make the change. And if you're scared as hell, give us a call, and we'll help you with that change. So take care, guys. We'll see each other in a couple days. Until then, stay safe, but most of all, God bless. Take care, guys.